Today, we're turning this into this. And we're doing it in just 1 week. And by we, let's just say I'm not doing this alone. The Siege of Gondor draws closer, and over the last 12 months, the Minas Tirith COVID-19 community build has grown into a collective effort of monumentous proportions. But last week, my local Warhammer store manager Andy offered us the chance to set up the board so far and test our scenario for the epic full-scale 50-player siege we're hosting in 2022. I jumped to the chance, but soon realized 3 meters of wall is good, but you know what's better? 3 meters of dense cityscape and a full complement of Mordor siege towers. And I have 1 week to get it done. I think it's time to make a few phone calls. Am I speaking to the master of microdensity madness, the lord of MDF, and founder of Knights of Dice?
I've been expecting you, Master Zorpazorp.
Viv, I need 24 medieval houses painted by Friday, okay? Fantastic, thanks dude, and make sure you roll that camera. I want to see the madness unfold over on your channel.
Did you say a week?
Talk soon, dude.
What the fuck?
Well, that's the city sorted. Now we need some siege equipment. I have 2 amazing scratch-built towers to start us off, donated by one of my amazing Patreons, Andy Marchant, but 3 meters of walls needs about 6 towers. And on this timeline, that leaves us with only one option: 3D printing. If only I knew some sort of 3D printing guru who loved Middle-earth and had a YouTube channel all of his own. Oh! Jacob from Conquest Creations, what the f*** are you doing in my studio?
Whoa. Okay, sorry, let me check the script. I've been pledged by the Dark Lord to assault the White City.
Do you have 6 siege towers?
Well, no, I don't. But I could 3D print them.
Well, get on with it then. Those towers aren't going to print themselves.
That is kind of actually how a 3D printer works.
Alright, while the boys are hard at work, it's time to get my own house in order. Over the last couple of weeks, you guys have seen me hand carve and then mold and cast some absolutely mental stairwells for the outer battlements. These are so key to our siege scenario, as it will allow the orcs to assault the walls and then pour down into the city below. Before these bad boys are ready for the table though, we need to clean them up and get them painted. Now these casts are fresh out of the mold, so there's a lot of work to do. We need to pull out any excess silicon from the recesses and trim away all the flash that we can. Bubbles need to be filed down and any gaps get filled with green stuff and then retextured with my alfoil. The big final task then is to grab the belt sander and plane down the base of these casts that were the top face of the mold. With an absolutely murdered sanding belt that was basically more belt than sand, I got almost all of them done before the belt finally snapped and just missed lacerating my arm. Luckily, the last piece was a spare, so I've got enough to create 3 perfect stairwells. Now it's time to dig into painting, and for the first time in this project, I'm working with resin, so I don't have to worry about dissolving foam with my spray paint. Out comes the bright white Dulux plastic primer. Ooh yeah, look at that baby spray. Now while those pieces dry, it's time to check in with my beloved Viv from Knights of Dice. I guess he's so ahead of schedule he must be having a day off.
There's white everywhere!
Then it's on to painting. For these pieces, I'll be using my classic stone painting method that I've done a full tutorial for linked above, but as we've got a whole bunch of new friends on this journey, I'll quickly whiz through the process again. Up first is a stage called undertoning. This is where we base coat individual stone bricks with a series of darker colors, a neutral brown, a dark blue gray, and a neutral light gray. Then we heavily overbrush these undertone bricks, first with our neutral light gray and then with a crisp white. This process is designed to create a white wall that looks much more realistic, with subtle changes in hue through the stone. You will notice that the difference in color is still quite pronounced, but this effect will be much more subtle once we put down a nice black wash over the entire piece. Gondorian roof tiles are a lovely dark blue-grey slate, so I masked off my white stone and primed with black, and then mixed up some blue-greys of varying shades, starting nice and dark and building upwards. I applied the darker layers overbrushing the entire surface, but as I got lighter, kept my brush strokes moving across the tiles to create a sense of texture and accent the subtle edges of the roof tiles. Then a final highlight with my light grey, and we're ready for washes. For my wash, I usually use Jez's recipe from Black Magic Craft, which uses Liquitex black ink and some other additives, but this time I got lazy and I just diluted the ink with straight water, and I have to say, I had some serious trouble with the paint job from this point onwards. At first I thought my inks were too dark, so I heavily overbrushed white back over the surface and then applied a second more diluted wash, but then I realized it wasn't the saturation that was the issue. The wash was doing something I have never seen before, pooling on the higher, flatter parts of the stonework and not moving down into the deep recesses. The shiny, non-porous surface of the resin was having two effects that I hadn't expected. First, the surface tension of the wash without any added flow aid wasn't able to move properly across the resin without the absorbent nature of my normal material, extruded polystyrene foam. And secondly, without that very absorption, the piece was much brighter than its foam counterparts, which always end up a very light grey and never pure white. Unfortunately, I worked this out without any time to attempt a third wash, so the pieces had to stay as they were, and to be honest, I'm very unhappy with them. But after the event, I can give them a touch up with a better wash, and in the spirit of showing you guys my mistakes, you can now all mock me in the comment section. I'm a big boy, I can take it.
Well, your mum is so fat.
Well, we've got some walls, it's about time we checked in with Jacob from Conquest Creations.
We're fine here. Everything's all fine, thank you. How are you?
Alrighty then, well, time to focus on the positives, I think. The mighty Viv from Knights of Dice has delivered. The first care package has arrived, and look at this absolutely monstrous box. Christmas has officially come to Minas Tirith.
Very merry MDF-mas.
Knights of Dice produced an incredible range of MDF kits which are super easy to build and look absolutely fantastic, and luckily, the general aesthetic of the buildings within Minas Tirith are actually pretty similar to a lot of Roman and Grecian inspired architecture. So all we have to do is slap down a scheme of white stone and blue-grey roofs on some of Viv's kits, and boom, we've got ourselves an inner city of Minas Tirith. These kits are from his new City of Alaria range, and they are the most detailed and intricate MDF kits I've ever seen. Traditionally, I haven't been a fan of MDF kits at all, but these have totally changed my mind. And although they're never going to be as intensely detailed as the buildings I'll be carving from foam, they are much, much more durable, which is perfect for the intense gameplay of our 50-player siege, and they take a fraction of the time to build and paint. To check out the incredible journey of Viv smashing this whole set from start to finish in basically negative amounts of time, it was so fast, head on over to his video on the Knights of Dice YouTube channel.
Hey there, Zorptrons. Hope you're all well. Can't wait to see you all when I come up to defend Minas Tirith in person. I'll see you there.
With the buildings and the stairs finished, we've got the chance to really enjoy exploring some layouts. Eventually, I would like the streets to be a little bit denser, but this will be perfect for our test event, and combining our stairwell in its platform configuration makes for some really fun verticality and helps break up the inner cityscape. Now, it's time to get a handle on our besiegers. Oh, and look, another package in the mail, and what's this?
Within this package you will find weapons of war. Shall you choose to unleash them, the Grand White City shall burn.
You can watch the full video on my YouTube channel, Conquest Creations.
To war!
Yes, Jakey has absolutely delivered, and now we have 3 resplendent siege towers ready to join the ranks of Mordor and assault the White City. These towering bastions of doom are 3D printed from a modified STL file that has been donated by the amazing Jeremy from Gamescape 3D. He's a huge fan of the Minas Tirith build and has not only allowed us to modify his file to suit our stupidly massive walls, but even given us permission to sell that STL to raise profits for the project. So if you're keen to print yourself off some of these bad boys for your own Minas Tirith boards, or even just want to donate to the project and get some cool files at the same time, the link is down in the description. And be sure to check out the full range of fantastic 3D files available from Gamescape 3D. Jeremy has a huge selection of terrain available both as individual files and a Patreon subscription with incredible value. value. Thank you so much for your support, Jeremy. I can't wait to make the lads print more of your amazing stuff. Also, a special shout out to James Gable, Jack Norman, and Nathan Shuttleworth, who were instrumental in the 3D printing call to arms, not just for Jakey's Towers, but for many more on the way. And you'll see those bad boys in a future video. Well, the board is set. The pieces are moving. The great battle of our time is about
Breaking news and a
Coronavirus outbreak.
3-day snap lockdown.
Lockdown.
Well, COVID has stalled our games once again. I guess we were lucky to even have a chance. I know many of you guys around the world are living through us here in the lucky countries, but fear not, the event has not been cancelled, merely postponed. And more time, well, ladies and gentlemen, that just means more Minas Tirith. The inexorable wheels of progress are steaming forward, fed by the collective dreams and sheer willpower of a community that is bound by a single goal: to take part in the great battle of our time. And believe me when I say Viv and Jacob are just the beginning. Gondor calls for aid. And YouTube will answer. Also, don't forget to watch Viv and Jakey's videos to see their epic part of the journey.